was watching in utter dismay just how easy Americans are manipulated nowadays. There were a couple of companies, including Disney, that after the Supreme Court decision came in, they said, hey, if any of our employees require an abortion, we're going to pay for that. So if your state doesn't allow it, we're going to pay so that you can have the travel and you're going to be able to have some time off so you can go in another state to have it. And I was looking at Twitter and everyone was like, oh, that is so progressive, that is so empathetic, that is so for women's rights. And I'm thinking, yeah, of course it is, because the company doesn't want you to have maternity leave. Like, it's cheaper for them if you travel in another state and they pay you to do that, rather than have them pay you maternity leave, rather than having them to deal with the fact that you're going to be gone for a couple of months and they have to find a replacement, like such a hassle. Like, they would rather not deal with that. So, of course, they're willing to pay people. But like, the concept that this is out of empathy and anything else besides financial gain is bewildering. These are corporations. What does it mean for a company to be empathetic? Like, a company, especially that has tens of thousands of people working at it, how does that work? Like, do they put all the people in a room and they channel their empathy and it goes through the PR lady, which is the avatar of the company, and they show how empathetic they are? And this is another thing that really bothers me about corporations being political. Like, does Disney actually ask their employees what they think about certain issues? Like, if they think pineapple goes on pizza, that is the official Disney stance. Do they ask every employee from the janitor all the way from the CEO? Or does the HR lady just dictate and tell people, okay, all our employees think this, without even asking them? Do you not think that's a little bit horrible? I mean, the thing that's being encouraged right now is that when you go to a company and you sign a contract, you don't just sign the contract for your labor for 8 hours. No. Even when you get home, you still represent the company. So basically, everything you say on social media, everything you do in your free time can still get you fired. Like, you can be in the park and say an inappropriate joke to a friend of yours, and if someone videotapes that, then they can get you fired. Even though it was your free time, it's got nothing to do with the business, like, you're not in any official capacity there, right? It's so disgusting. Why are people encouraging this? Like, when you sign to a company, you're now signing your soul and your integrity to the corporation. This is the type of culture that should be promoted. So, and it's, when you look at the poll, it's mostly the left that want this, is the Democrats that want this. I mean, the Democrats used to be for workers' rights. They were against the 1%, the corporations and, the evil entities that want to control everything. Why do you want to give companies so much control by encouraging this culture? I don't even care about abortions, by the way. Like, this is not the topic. It is the idea that the company should have political stances, because we know that corporations don't poll their employees on those political stances. I don't even care what the stance is. I want the company to shut the fuck up and just put the product. So when you look at it, I gotta say, I was really happy to see that it's just 43% of the Democrats that think companies should have political stances, while 33 are against, 24 not sure. Like, you're not sure. How can you not be sure? Like, you should have an opinion on this. But besides the Democrats, which are still the highest, the others are like 23%, which I think is still too high, by the way. I still think it's too high. But like, let me get this straight. Like, if you have a right-wing company, a Christian company, by a Christian CEO, and he's like, yes, we're going to take a position, and we think that we're pro-life. And if you're the janitor working at that company, are you allowed to be pro-choice? Is it okay, or do you have to quit? Like, if you're working at a restaurant that's in California now, and let's say that restaurant is pro-choice, right? So it dictates that you have to be pro-choice. And you don't give a shit about abortions at all. But now you have to be pro-choice because that's what your boss says you are, right? So then you try to find another job in Texas at a pro-life restaurant. And now you have to change your ideology. You change your... Does that even work? Will people just change their politics based on which companies they work at? What if you're a contractor, you're a freelancer, and you just work under a company for a limited time? And we all know who do these decisions, right? It's the HR departments. It's like the HR lady gets to do the thing. And this is why this culture even exists. From what I understand, like certain corporations, especially the ones in California now, by law, if they have over 100 employees, they need to have an HR department. So for an HR department, you have to hire someone that's been indoctrinated at the academia, and they come with the ideological package from the academia into your corporation, and then they start hiring based on ideology. This is why like politics on companies is so important. It's just, you're taking away from the merit, right? Like, I, as the consumer, want a good product. I don't care about this shit. Like, I don't want you to fire someone that's in a key position at your company because they have the wrong politics, and then the product suffers from it. Perfect example in the comic book industry. Like, I know a lot of comic book writers that got fired because they didn't have the correct politics. For example, in the comics industry, there were a lot of artists which got fired for having the wrong politics. It's like, well, what does that have to do with that? If like they're artists, they're drawing, who cares about their politics? Like, leave them alone. It's their free time. They're free people. Oh no, well, okay, so now they're independent. Some of them are making millions of dollars, and in the meantime, the quality of comics, the drawings, are suffering because they limit the number of people that they can hire based on politics, not by drawing quality. So, you know, if you hire based on politics, you're going to have a lot of politicians, I guess, but you're not going to have a good product. And this thing, like, it's so bizarre. Like, oh, this company says that they believe X. Like, look, if I already have my personal political views, like, for example, I want less taxation. Who gives a fuck if Exxon wants more taxation? I don't care what they want. But I guess, like, the reason for this is that if you work at Exxon, and I'm just giving this as an example, okay? If you work at Exxon, let's say Exxon actually has a political stance that they want more tax, whatever. If you say that you want less, then they can fire you. Like, this is what companies calling out politics is about. It's about purges and persecution, right? Usually you have all the HR ladies getting together and they come up with something, and then they force their employees to not talk about anything against what they just said. So, pineapple on pizza, best example. All the HR ladies are coming together. They're saying pineapple on pizza is in vogue now. All the companies are going to put that black with white thing. It's like, oh, we support pineapple on pizza. And then the purge happens. And people are going to look at problematic employees. Oh, well, look, he doesn't like pineapple on pizza. We should get them fired. And the problem is that some of those employees might be actually very capable, very good people at the job that they're supposed to do. And once they get fired, they're being replaced with people that love pineapple on pizza, but they might be very poor for the job. So this is a horrible culture. I don't think it's going to last for long because it's obviously going to create companies ending up going bankrupt. The people themselves are fed up with this shit. I mean, again, like if I'm a person that thinks that I want smaller taxes, right? And Exxon comes out and they're like, oh, we want smaller taxes too. I'm like, oh, okay, you know, great. I'm not going to buy more from Exxon because they came up with that public statement, right? But if they say, oh, we want higher taxes, then they piss me off and then I might actually boycott them. So it's a good thing if companies shut the fuck up. And honestly, regarding this topic, I definitely think they are going to shut the fuck up because it's such a divisive issue. Like, this is 50-50, you know, with previous issues that they, you know, like support being against Asian violence. Like, who the fuck is for that? No one, right? So, like, it's a non-controversial issue. They can put it up there. That's fine. But when it's something that's 50-50, when it's something that's especially based on party line, it kind of has the potential of affecting their profits. So I do think that most companies are going to be quiet about it. But they might say stuff like, oh, we're going to offer money so that you can travel in a state where you can have an abortion, because they don't want to pay maternity leave, okay? Not because they care. They don't care. They're a corporation. They want to make money. This is what people need to understand, especially Democrats, okay? Repeat after me. Companies try to make money. That's literally why they exist. The only purpose of their... Like, no one starts a corporation because they want to do politics. If people want to do politics, they get into politics. Or they do activism. But they don't start a corporation in order to sell soft drinks or football or whatever. Let me know what you guys think, though. I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.